Alok. I'm the founder and CEO of Yumist. As Pushpinder pointed out, we are one of the internet kitchens that is so getting sort of steam right now. So I don't have a presentation, but I thought it'd be good to sort of understand who's in the crowd, and maybe I can customize what I want to talk about that way. Does that work? How many restaurateurs in the crowd, please? Can I have a show of hands? It's quite a few. How many technologists? One. Are you serious? Okay. Currently not the right firm. There's two. There's third. Okay. How many people from the media? Okay. How many investors? One, two, three. So I'll include a bit of a pitch as well, I guess, right, over there. So, okay. So, guys, let's start with what we do, right? I was warned before I came here. I have restaurateur friends, and they are not too friendly with me right now. Sort of people thinking we are disrupting an F&B industry and stuff like that. Hey, it's not that. So I want to sort of clear the cloud and say, what is it that we are really doing and how we are different, or in fact, where the synergies lie, right? So the story starts back in 2005 in Bangalore, wherein I was actually part of a lounge pub. You know how it all works. We had this place called The Beach in Indranagar. That's where sort of, I've always been on the food side of things personally, and the professional side of me has been tech. So on the personal side, I sort of got involved with friends and started this lounge. This is what I learned. Took what, 1 crore rupees to start, broke even in 15 months. A lease expired in 5 years, and we had to sort of move on because guess what happened? Real estate costs happened, right? So 100 feet road suddenly became like 10x the rentals and stuff like that. Lesson well learned over there, traditional F&B, as to and in between, we had the challenges of how do we create this second outlet? How do we create this third outlet, right? How do we scale up fast? How do we move to other cities, right? Let's think about it. How many F&B brands, homegrown F&B brands do we know that have sort of scaled up very fast within the country? Not many. Maybe we'll be able to count in our fingers, I guess, right? You're one of them. Lucky to have met you. So the idea was this, that, hey, what are the pain points? It's CapEx, capital expenditure, when you want to create an F&B brand. It's the operational expenditure. So we were looking at this market, the F&B market from a business perspective, and on the other side, we were looking at the daily meals segment in India. So versus, let's say, what a Habanero does, which is on the restaurant side of things, right? 8,000 restaurants in Bangalore, about 11,000 restaurants in NCR, all providing different cuisines and stuff like that. But there's this segment called daily meals, what an average Indian eats 3 times a day. So prior to this stint, I was at Zomato. I was the CM of Zomato, and there's some data I'd like to share with you guys. An average Indian in a metro eats once in 10 days from a restaurant. In a tier 2 city, he eats once in 3 weeks from a restaurant. At a restaurant or from a restaurant, right? In those 10 days, he's got to have 29 other meals. What does he have? He has the dal, roti, chawal, sabzi, right? That segment is very, very price conscious. If you're in a corporate, you move up to the canteen, pay $70, $60, and you want to have your food daily fix of your meal. So this is what we realized, that, hey, a customer in India, when he wants to eat, when you're sitting in an office, you think in a binary fashion. Am I going to eat simple? Am I going to eat fancy? When you think simple, which is 9 times out of 10, 29 times out of 30, you don't want to spend more than $75. When you think fancy, you say, hey, I'm going to get my pizza today at 250 rupees, and that's fine. So the budgets get allocated that way. So we're looking at this daily meal space, and suddenly something struck us, right? There's no innovation, there's no change that has happened in this market in the last 50 years, 5 decades. That's a huge time. Being at Zomato exposed me to all the food tech work that was going on out there, and everything is around the restaurant side. So we looked at this space, and said, hey, why is it that there's not a single national brand, there's not a single food F&B brand in the daily meal space? There are dabbawalas, there are corporate canteens, there's the auntie around the corner who'll get you a homely meal, but there's no brand. We looked deeper and we figured, how do you end up making a profit in this at scale, right? So partnered with Abhimanyu, who's a good friend, and he's been a restaurateur. He's built 11 restaurants across India. I came from the tech side. I'm a trained chef as well. So we got together and we said, hey, we got to solve the problems in this market. The problem being what? Bring quality and convenience at the same price, right? So how do you sell a meal box at 75 rupees and still end up making a 30% gross margin on that? There's food costs, there's packaging costs, and there's delivery cost. The standard delivery cost that goes on in the market is 55 rupees. So when someone delivers their pizza to you, it costs them 55 rupees for the delivery infrastructure. We can't afford that, right? We got to bring it down to maybe, under 20. At scale, maybe to 5 rupees. How do we do that? So we basically started solving these problems. When we started back in November 2014, we pretty much started solving for unit economics. We realized these are the challenges of the business. We realized there are 3 businesses that we are creating in one. There's food side of it, so you got to ensure the quality. You got to keep your food costs low. So simple as this: hey, we want to give you basmati rice in a 75 rupee meal box. A dabba wala is not going to do that. He is going to cut corners, give you a mota chawal, which costs 30 rupees a kg, right? So how do we give you the best quality and still end up making margins? So there's the food side of it, then there's the supply chain side of it. The food has to reach you at a temperature of about 50 degrees centigrade. A pizza comes to you at 42. Restaurant food mostly gets delivered to you at 35. Perfect eating temperature though is 55 degrees centigrade, right? No one focuses on stuff like this in India. So we wanted to solve that. So the logistics side of the business, we had 3 questions to answer. How do we deliver food to you at greater than 50 degrees centigrade? How do we make the food reach you in less than 20 minutes? And how do we keep the delivery cost less than 20 rupees per delivery, right? That's where technology came in. Technology for us is not just lines of code. It's not just programming. It's technology through and through the supply chain, whether it's food science or it's food engineering or it's motion mechanics. It's a lot of technology, different stuff that we use across the supply chain. Talking about lines of code though, we have algorithms at the back end which sort of, when an order comes, let's say you're sitting at an office in Cyber City and you place an order on our app. So it takes 10 seconds to place an order. It hits our servers. Our servers sort of run 4 or 5 different algorithms. I'm going to try and keep it simple. What these algorithms try and do is pick the best biker on the street who has another app called Yumist 20. We pick that guy who's the best to deliver to you, which will ensure that you have your food in 20 minutes and ensures that you will have your food hot. Also ensures that our delivery cost on that particular order is going to be the lowest, right? So algorithms decide that and pings the logistics app. So the biker on the road is pretty much carrying an app and something hits him and whatever's on the screen, he's supposed to do it, right? Now, a lot of challenges come. It's India. What if data connectivity is not there? What if the order is not going to reach him? So we have to work with challenges saying, let's say there's no data connectivity. How do you create an offline app which does not rely on internet completely, right? Other challenges like routes, there's one-ways and whatnot, right? How do we solve for that? So our bikers are pretty much trained to say there's an order, once you accept the order, you just plug in your earphones and just follow audio navigation to reach the customer. So location becomes super important for us. So when any of you order, we would know exactly where you are and the biker is pretty much following audio navigation to come to you, right? So that lowers our cost because the guy can actually deliver more number of orders in a 1-hour period. So that's where the key lies, to lower that. So rough example, if you take one of the pizza boys, the delivery guys over there do max of 10 orders per day, if I'm not mistaken. Our bikers can do as much as 10 orders in an hour delivery, right? Because all the algorithms and all the on the ground stuff that we do. So challenges, I want to talk about, hey, what are the pros of this model of using technology to solve for food delivery, and what are the challenges? In our kind of business, the challenges are simple. Hey, we are running 3 businesses in one. You have the food side of the business, you have the logistics side of the business, and you have the tech side of the business, right? It's complicated. It's not simple. You need all hands on deck. You need great quality people who know this stuff to make this happen. So once we did that, though, we realized, hey, there's an entry barrier that we have created, and we are making 30% margins on a 75 rupee meal, and at scale, we're going to be making 45% margins. So, which was unheard of, right? So now I want to talk about the pros. One thing is clear, right? It's scalability. To take an example, we launched Bangalore recently. And in your head, I want you to sort of think about how traditional F&B works and how technology is allowing us to move so fast. We launched Bangalore with a 2-member launch team in just 2 weeks. We launched 10 localities every week in our current cities, right? I'll take an example again of Domino's. There are 113 kitchens that Domino's has in NCR. We have 1. Right, and that's what we need. So technology and food science enables us to do that. So that's how F&B VC has evolved for us and sort of working for us. Positive number 2, 90% lower capex compared to traditional F&B, 85% lower OPEX, operational expenditure compared to traditional F&B. Makes us scalable, makes us really fluid in terms of what we want to do. Allows us to have crazy plans like, hey, we want to be in 8 cities by March 2016, right? All we have to do is have launch teams out there who are doing that. So that's what we're doing. On the customer acquisition side, right? So it's an app. It's an app where you order. On the customer acquisition side, it allows us to do some marvelous things. So like I could be standing here on stage and say that, hey, if you download the Yumist app from the Play Store and use coupon code IRC, right? Stands for Indian Restaurant Congress. You use that, your first meal is on us. See what I just did there? It's marketing, right? It allows us to do that. I don't have to drag you in and get you into my restaurant to walk in or whatever, right? No phones to call, nothing like that. Download the app, you can do right now, you can apply the coupon, you get a meal, right? So customer acquisition sort of becomes simple as well. I mean, obviously there's competition, but you're not against the 10,000 physical restaurants out there. So these are all the merits of the business. Obviously the challenges exist. One thing I want to sort of discuss openly is the coexistence of what's going to happen. How do we see the future? The future looks like this, right? Food delivery is going to be on the rise. The way the numbers are growing, it's phenomenal. So food, people want convenience. More and more people are ordering in offices as well as residences. 30% of orders are coming from residences. Housewives ordering and all sorts of stuff. So food delivery is on the rise. There'll be a lot of food delivery players that'll come in. There'll be, again, I think you mentioned one of the delivery boys, right? Swiggy. And the likes of Roadrunner, I guess, who's sponsoring this, or Pick and Go. All these guys are solving for delivery for the food players, the traditional food players, right? Why? Because the convenience is on the rise. And then, obviously, the market of dining in as well is increasing phenomenally well, right? So basically what's happening is that people are spending more and more on eating outside rather than spending time in their own kitchens. And all of us benefit from that. Whether you are a traditional F&B player, whether you are on the tech side of things, it's a great time to be in this space, right? So yeah, I tell my restaurateur friends that, hey, I'm not your enemy. We will coexist, and it's a great future for all of us. It's a pleasure being here, guys, and we'll be open for questions. Thank you.